Good afternoon, students. So, welcome back to our online session of your optical communication class. So, in today's session, we are going to deal with Unit 1. So, in the previous sessions, we talk about the modes, single mode and multi mode we have seen, and even we talk about the different types of light source and how do we get that light source and how we obtain that one. That is also we covered. And in today's sessions, the more concern of ours is towards the analysis part. How do we get analysis of that particular mode, and how do we find out that functions of it? So this is the our mode of in optical communications. So we are going to see that, students. So before proceeding with that, I just want to show you the syllabus, what actually till now we covered and what else is there left out for us to just to be covered. So those topics we are going to see now in today's session. So let's see what else is there to be covered in our syllabus. Then we can proceed ahead with our concepts. Okay. So now till now we covered. Let us go ahead with the syllabus part. Let's move ahead with the syllabus. So till now, students, so this part we covered evolution of fiber optics, elements of fiber optic transmission link, ray optics, optical fiber modes and configuration, mode theory of circular waveguides, overview of low pass frequency data transportation of mode and key points, linearly polarized mode, single mode and gradient index. These are left out. So we are need to learn about single mode and gradient mode. So till now what we covered. Let us see what else I have taught you in the till now sessions, so that you should maintain the notes as per the syllabus. So till now, so we talk about these concepts. Start from the starting. So let's start with the first part. What we have learned. From starting, we are moving ahead. So basic principle of light, numerical aperture, mode theory, mode conditions, total electrical mode, total magnetic mode. We do proceed with that. We have learned about it. Just take a quick recap. What else is we did? We see the ray diagrams for total internal reflection and for the critical angles. We have derived. Then we move ahead with cylindrical optical communication fibers. Then we proceed with ray optic analysis of light wave propagation in optical fibers, how it is used for single mode and how it is used for multi mode step index, right? This is for the ray. So bond ray, unbound ray we have seen, and we have seen the analysis, the type of analysis we find out. Then we proceed with the numerical aperture, right? So this numerical aperture derivation we have proceed, and we derive it also. What is numerical aperture? N1 root of 2 delta we have done. Next, after getting numerical aperture, we found out for gradient index fiber, and we just found local numerical aperture. How would we get that? So numerical aperture of R is nothing but n r square, n square of R minus n2 square. What is n square R over here? It is for the core. Core is nothing but n1, right? That n1 I am replacing with this particular formula. Whenever we try to do that way, then we can say it is come under the numerical aperture for the gradient index. So we are proceeding with gradient index now. We've got that gradient index. Next, we proceed with mode theory. So mode theory also we have learned why the mode, why we call it as mode. Mode means whatever the rays we are passing, we want to describe the propagation of light in the optical fiber. That can be understood by considering the behavior. So that behavior can be understood by considering the modes. So next, we have seen its propagation formula. This is our propagation formula, right? The equation of sustainable propagation depends upon diameter d. So diameter d, this is nothing but 2 pi n d sin theta by lambda plus delta is equals to pi m. What is this m? M indicates mode over there. N1 is refractive index of the core. N2, if we do use it, then will be refracting index of the cladder. Sin theta is the angle of propagation from where the light rays is propagating. L lambda is a wavelength. Okay. Similarly, we need to learn about modes in planar waveguides. How do we get the modes in plane waveguides? That also we have seen. How do we get the mode? So basically, what is a mode? It is electric field distribution in x direction, which should not change with respect to z direction when waves are propagating. So that particular thing, when they are moving periodically in x direction with along a z direction, that is called as mode. Next, we talk about its analysis by using Maxwell equations. Del cross E is equals to minus dou by dou t, where E is what? Electrical field component. B is nothing but magnetism. What is B? Mu h, right? If you want to take free space, then del dot B is equals to 0. Because del dot B is equals to rho, right? That rho value will be 0. This is for Faraday's law and Gauss law. What is Ampere's law? Del cross H is equals to dou D by dou t, right? Or del dot B is equals to 0. This green line indicates what? This indicates this green line, whatever the green line we had, that indicates what? Magnetic field. What about this red line? It is what? Electric field. Both are mutually perpendicular. You can see, right? This is in x direction, this is in z direction. This is the way you had three-dimensional figure. So next is relation of that. So relation can be understood by considering its wave equation. So by applying the double to what we call second order. Second order, if you want to consider, that become wave equation. So del cross E is equals to mu epsilon dou square E by dou t square for electric field component. For magnetic field component, del cross H is equals to mu epsilon dou square H by dou t square. If it's E here, we have to put E there. If it is H here, we have to put H there. Similarly, we have proceed with planar waveguides, because in our syllabus what we had, students, we do have a planar as well as circular, right? So we are proceeding with both optical fiber modes, overview of low frequency, linear polarized, single and gradient. This is our planar waveguide. In that we have seen how a single light ray, if it parts from the single source, if it is passing from the one source, is getting refracted inside the specimen, this touching the core surface, how it is getting the equiphase, and how we are going to get the electric field intensity. When m is equals to 0, m is equals to 1, slopes also we have seen. And what are the conditions? So this is the condition, right? Del phi is equals to m 2 pi. What is m indicates? M can be 1, 2, 3. This is nothing but slides. Whenever we want to get the slides, we have to use this equation to get the constructive interference to standing wave patterns across the guide. See here, this is our TE1 mode, right? As you can see, there are two flows which are penetrating. This is for T m is equals to 2. There are 3 lobes, right? M is equals to 3. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 lobes. As the number of modes m value is increasing, that is also going to be increased. That together will distribution of that particular part. Similarly, mode designation. How we designate the mode? There are 4 modes in circular cylindrical waveguides, because we do have this also, right? Circular cylindrical waveguides, cylindrical optical fiber configuration. These all concepts using cylindrical waveguides also. Here you can see, right? Circular waveguides, that only the circular cylindrical waveguides. So we have seen its mode of it, linearly polarized, how we get the mode for that, TE and TM mode. So because we are considering T mode, right? In this, what we are considering TE, LM, that is for electric field vector lies in transfer plane. TM, LM, magnetic field vectors lie in transfer plane. Both the planes we considered, and we'll try to find out the total electric and magnetic component. Hybrid electric means electric field should be more than the magnetic field. So TE component should be more than the TM component. Hybrid EH means what should be more? Your magnetic component. TM component should be more than the TE component. So where is LM and L indicates variation cycle in phi direction. M indicates variation cycle in R direction, because we are considering cylindrical coordinate system. We should have phi R, right? So we proceed with TE and TM mode. So based upon Maxwell equations, electric field also have 3 axes, 3D, X, Y, Z, and magnetic also have X, Y, Z. Both are 90 right angle, means both are mutually perpendicular to each other, and we can find out their direction of propagation. Next, TE mode, as we have seen, right? When TE is equals to 0, one zeroth component means one main lobe. When T is equals to TE1 means there are two lobes. When TE2 means 1, 2, 3. There are three lobes, right? So based upon core and cladle, we have seen the vertical component, how it is going to vary. Next, this is our field strength, how we get the field intensity, how we get the field activity. So this is just an example. Here outside, suppose this is your cladle, the inside is your core. How we get the part, how it is getting distributed. If you had one circular form, it only make one lobe. If it is two circular form, if it's formed, then we get two strength of the what field. Intensity will be in the same lobe, right? So intensity is what in same lobe, it is getting passed over there. Next is high and low order modes. This also we have covered. When we are taking the incident light is passing like this from here to here, it is getting maximum. Higher order mode is where when we are in synchronous form, it is in passing in the same direction. When they are in opposite direction, this is called lower order mode because there is no getting refracted more waves. When there are less number of modes passing over there, that is called low order. Next, we have seen two degenerated fundamental modes in fiber, horizontal and vertical. HT11. How we get 1, 1? So this is what horizontal. You can see the arrow mark, right? This arrow mark, horizontal component. What about this? This is a vertical component. So both horizontal and vertical we found. Next, we have seen end view cylindrical modes. So whatever the modes you have learned, TE01, TM01, HT. What is HT stands for? Electric. TM, TE should be more than T component should be more than TM component, right? So this is your HT. HT11, HT21. This is the patterns you need to know it. This is our cross section view. Next, we have seen practical end view of different fringes patterns in different hybrid modes from a 30 nanometer laser source. So this is the way we get for HT patterns. See over there, this already I have covered. So briefly, I'm just taking the overview of that. And the mode propagation frequency. How do we get the mode propagation constant as a function of frequency? So as you can see here, an index which has a value v defined as a normalized frequency is used to determine how many different guide modes can be support, how many waveguides it can going to get support over there. To get that one, we are using v number of frequency modes. So in that, v is equals to 2 pi a by lambda root of n1 square minus n2 square. What is this n1 and n2 square? It is numerical aperture. Till now we covered. So now what we are going to see now from here, we are going to see this concept, that is mode of fiber based on V number and propagation constant. So as you can see on the graph, student, so this is what normalized propagation frequency, this is what normalized propagation constant V. When the number of modes are increasing, as you can see from here N2, this is your N1, this is for core, this is for cladding. So when we want to find N value, when I'm having keep on changing the mode, see HT22 mode, TE02, LM value, TM, this is electrical component, this is magnetic component, this is HT. HT means TE component should be more than the TM component. Here we reverse. TM component should be more than TE component. So as we keep on increasing, as we started from 0, only we get HT component which is 1, 1. L also 1, M is also 1. Variation in X component, variation Y components. 1, 1 means LM, right? For cylindrical coordinate system, 1 is for phi, 1 is for R. So phi is equals to 1 and R is equals to 1. We got this. Then phi is equals to 0 and R is equals to 1. We got this. So when we are keep on increasing the V number, this is a graph we need to get that. So this is what actually, this is a function of normalized frequency for few low order fiber modes. This right cycle shows the mode, how many modes N value you have. That is what right hand side of that. So when M modes are increasing, as you can see in the cutoff V parameters, how the cutoff value we can get. So for initially when L is 0, M we don't want to see, only this M value is 1, it is 0. And M is increasing, keep on increasing, as you can see over there. You need to learn this constant just to know how it's going to vary. Similarly, single mode fiber, for fiber supporting only one mode. So whatever one mode is there, that is called single mode. If it is supporting multi-mode, then it is obviously by the name itself, it will be multi. The single mode fibers allow higher capacity to transmit. Single mode is how it is going to work. It is going to pass the higher capacity information because it can retain the fidelity of each light pulses. Whenever the light pulses is going to pass from longer distance, it can go for that particular longer distance travel, and it exhibits no dispersion caused by multiple mode. Whenever we do have a multiple mode, it does not allow them to pass from there. The most type of single mode fiber has core diameter, because core diameter should be very less, right? As you can see in the diagram itself, the core diameter is increasing Is it increasing? No, it is less. It is showing over here 8 micrometer, then 125 micrometer, then we do have 290, 250 buffer. For that it's 250. For jog it is 400 micrometer. So your core is vary from 4 to 10 micrometer. The smaller core diameter make coupling light into the core more difficult. That's the reason that it's to be smaller in order to make it properly passage of that single mode kind of fiber. Rates up to 10 gigabytes per second they are allowed to pass through it at a distance of 60 kilometers. Commercially available for transceiver as well as for transmitting as well as for receiving it allows. Next, single mode versus multi-mode. How many multi-modes? What is the difference of single modes? What are the importance of single modes and what are the disadvantages of multi-mode? That is important to understand. So, single modes always try to pass with a single mode of fiber. Whenever we try to find the mode of propagation, it allow the single part to be formed and please allow the only single mode to be passed. Whereas in multi-mode, as you can see, a ray is passed from the outer, from rarer medium to denser medium. It is getting pass through multiple directions. So whenever you have a multiple direction, different modes can be used. So see, single mode fiber or single light is going to pass, multi-mode fiber, a multi-light is going to pass. So whenever we do have these kind of wave, whenever we try to find out this kind of wave propagation, we can apply by using this particular mode as well. Okay, so this is the way we can write single mode versus multiple mode. As you can see in the core versus cladder. If you do have a core, inside the specimen is a core, right? Outside it is called cladder. So for that core, when the core is so small that only one mode can allow, it only allow one mode. Whereas in this part, as you can see, the core is more, right? Because the number of rays should be more. That is for multi-mode. So light propagation in the single mode fiber. How the light is going to propagate. To get that particular form, we need to see the day. Only the single light rate is allowed, right? It is just an axis. It's not visible, but it's a single line is going to pass core, and we do have an cladder is the outside part. This is for single mode. Only single light it allowed to pass. Whereas multi-mode fiber is best designed for short transmission. Single mode is for high data rate. It is it in terms of gigabytes per second and for longer distance. Whereas multi-mode is used for LAN systems, local area networks. Only few meters it allows, like 550 meters, and it use only mega to giga. Not that much huge speed. It will be in a 10 megabits per second to 10 gigabits per second. Okay, so it allows shorter distance because we are applying multi lights to be passed over there, and more result from fact because light will only propagate in the fiber core, right? Inside the core only it will allow, not the outside. That's the reason. As you can see in the diagram, your acceptance angle is there. From there, you're passing a multiple light. So whenever we do have a majority of it, it allows a sufficient amount of majority applications which required 10 megabits per second to 10 gigabits per second over a link length of up to 550 meters. This much length only it should link into one end to the another end, from one premises to another premises application. Okay, so modes result from the fact of light only propagate in fiber core only, and then it is suitable for line system and video surveillance. Whatever the video surveillance we do have nowadays, we are putting the cameras for checking the in a auditorium or somewhere. This will be useful by this particular fiber cable. It is used to allow that one to pass from one end to another end. So as you can see in the diagram, students, so here we do have 8.2 micrometer of core. This much, so you can see the cladder is what increasing, right? When core is 100 micrometer, when core is 50 micrometer, you can see the size of that particular cladder and core, how much they are allowing. Clear? So next is light propagation in multi-mode fiber. Just diagram of, I just want to show over here how it is going to work. See here, this is a cylindrical system. Inside the part, what we had a core. When the light is propagating, this is specimen they are showing. As now, we just see here, right? In this we see, right? When the core is less, the information will be passed in a very steeper one. When core diameter is increasing, the information can be huge, but the thing is, it's only for the short distance propagation. Whereas light propagation multi-mode fiber, as you can see here, the core is becoming less, but the kind of propagation is more. More dispersion. How the more dispersion? Dispersion in the sense, students, how the light is going to be moved from one end to the another end, how it is going to work, on what functionality your core and cladding is going to depend on that kind of phenomena. If you want to understand in a better way, we can understand by considering one example. So as you can see here students, what is this actually? This is your step index fiber. So whenever I said step index, grid index, you have to draw this particular diagram, not the previous one. Single mode, multi mode, that is different. They ask index value. So here step index fiber and grid index fiber. If they ask model dispersion diagram, you can have to draw this and need to explain for that. So what actually it is consists of? It has index of refraction. As you can see here, we are using a single index fiber. A single line is passed. The output will be not making complete closed loop. Here, what is the core diameter? It's 200 micrometer. What about cladding? It is 300 micrometer. When we are taking an axis n, when you want to find index of refraction, we can draw this way. This is a diagram for mentioning that single index fiber. What about gradient index fiber, students? It's just like a cylindrical form, right? You can see here how many cylinders we do have. This is the way you need to represent. And as you can see here, 200 micrometer, the diameter of your core. Whereas here, core is less. What about cladding? Cladding is somewhat more. That's the reason if you see, this is what complete as flat, whereas this is your curve. We need to draw that particular diagram in order to explain the difference of step index fiber with gradient index fiber in optical communication. Similarly, the next part what we do have is single mode fiber. See here, single mode means single line. Core should be less, ladder should be more, and this is the waveform. One complete steeper lobe you will get for single mode. Whereas for distortion in the MI fiber, we don't draw the diagram for multi-mode. Already we covered for the multi-mode, right? Upper side only. That's the reason I'm not mentioning further. So this is about all the modes. So as you need to compare and you need to know the difference of all, so as to write the answer in a desired form. So this is the way we are representing our answer. Next we do have student, that is the distortion in MI fiber. What is MI stands for? Your multipath index fibers. So this is what MI fibers. So here whatever the pulses we are taking for the signal to get passed, the pulse signal travel by multiple paths within the numerical aperture cones. So see here, this is the acceptance angle, right? Numerical aperture we do have cylindrical cone, we're passing from the single source, light at multiple direction, having some L length. This is a core, outside is cladding. It's somewhat blurring, so I will show in the new part how it is going to work. But the thing is, you see, orally you try to draw that one, don't see the formula, only the diagram. The pulse signal travel by multiple paths within the numerical aperture cone. For getting that numerical aperture cone, we are considering one cone. From the cone only, we are passing a light source from one end to another end. When try to find out that particular part, we just traveling from, see here from the one index fiber, it is getting travel to multiple directions. So whenever it traveled from the multiple direction, inside we do have a core and the outside we do have a cladding. So core and cladding, it is going to consider. And how do we get that particular index value for distortion? What is the meaning of distortion? It's not a desired information. It is what noise or some sort of disturbance in the signals. Whenever we do have any kind of disturbance in the signals, that is also we should know, right? Because we need a desired signal. We don't want your distortion signal. So to get the desired signal, we need to consider a distortion in step index fiber. In order to get that, we need to reduce the pulse spreading. Whatever the pulses you do have, we try to reduce it because we want the desired information to be passed. To get that one, what we need to do? First, we need to go for mode mixing. That should, why we get that mode mixing? Because due to the bend and scattering. Because the light can be bent or it can get scattered into one form to multiple way, right? Scattering means it's getting dispersed into all the waveguides. So white light if you do have, it gets scattered to waveguide. That is what? Scattering of light. So or it may be due to the attenuation of higher order modes. Whenever we do have higher order modes, we may get attenuation for the signal. So to get that all kind of thing, we have to consider distortion also. So what is the meaning of distortion? The total pulse spreading. Whatever the pulse spreading we do have for your mode, delta t of mode square plus delta t square of displacement, both we need to consider. Then only we can reduce the material and waveguide dispersion using a source with smaller line width like laser. Because laser is a one single beam of light, right? But since model distortion is much greater than when compared to the effective part, then it will be cheaper to use in LEDs. So your LEDs were somewhat cheaper to utilize, whereas actually the question over here is what I asked here, Which of the material dispersion or multi-mode spreading is greater? For which material the spreading is greater, for dispersion or multimode? So we can reduce material and waveguide dispersion using a source with smaller line width like laser. The line needs to be decreased like laser, but since modal distortion is much greater, because the modal part, whatever we want to take a mode, it will be more in laser. So it is used in effective, and it can be used cheaper for an LEDs, light emitting diodes. Because of that has been overcome. Next question is distortion in gradient index fiber. So what we seen, students, we have seen for distortion in step index, we have write all the points, even the formula total pulse spreading. Second part we have seen for the gradient, right? How the gradient also going to get. So much less multimode distortion. Why we call it as less multimode distortion? Because typically pulse spread is just a few nanoseconds per kilometer. For 1 kilometer, if you see, it will be very few nanoseconds. And mode spread in GRIN fiber. This is one of the fiber which is used for gradient index fibers, right? So delta tau by L. L is the total length we have seen, right? Is equals to N1 del square by 2C. This is the formula to find model spread in GRIN, gradient index fibers, and indicate the number of modes for that. So pulse spread decreases by the factor of 2 by delta by using GRIN instead of SI. So because of that, the pulse spread of GRNI fiber with N1 is equals to 1.4, N2 is equals to 1.48 can be obtained by substituting in this. So now distortion in single mode fiber. This is what? Gradient index and single index. Now we are going for mode. So for single mode fibers as well, the only material waveguide dispersion is occurring, because pulse spread is smaller for long wavelengths and narrow line wavelength, because of the given preferable cases. So because of all these kind of parameters, we are considering our step index and gradient index and a single mode and the multi-mode fibers that cover your complete unit 1. Okay, we learn in detail about it, the kind of fibers, the optical lenses and distance, and all the parameters regarding your gradient index fiber for distortion, the derivation for the diagram, how we get the ray diagrams, how we get the total internal reflection, what are the optical fibers, how do we design the optical fibers for that mode, what are the linear polarized mode, whether the low frequency transposition mode is preferable for us, and elements of optical fiber, all the concepts we covered for the unit 1. So the next class I am going to proceed with unit 2. In that we are completely concerned with losses, the attenuation. Why we go for attenuation? What is attenuation means? We try to reduce the strength of the signal in order to get a desired information. We have to attenuate, means stop the signal, because we may get scattering losses, bending losses, because our light can be bent, right? So we may get that one. We may get core and cladding losses. We want to overcome from those losses in the optical waveguides. In order to get that kind of thing, we are considered with the capacity determination and the kind of group delays we will see, and we'll try to find out the polarization mode, material distributions, waveguide dispersion, all the dispersion mode, and how do we get for polarized mode dispersion, how we actually get what are the issues and problems we get when we try to design the optimization of single and cutoff wavelength. So when we try to do that, all the kind of things, what are the things we are going to get that, all the things we need to overcome, and we need to design a proper index fiber in order to obtain a desired information for our optical fiber communication. That complete part we are going to do in the next class. So whatever we have discussed in today's sessions, students try to maintain the notes of it. I have take a quick overview of complete unit 1, right? Starting from that end to this end we have covered, and whatever the few topics we already covered in the starting classes, that also you need to write it down so that it will be easy for you to understand the upcoming sessions. The upcoming session will be the passage of this one only. If you learn this particular part, the upcoming classes will become easy for you to understand and to get that subject in a proper form. So try to maintain the notes, and we'll proceed with the second unit in the next session. in the first session. Derivation as well as the diagram you need to know for core, cladder and buffer. Completely depends upon that only. Okay. Thank you very much.